So this is Steven's bus. He drove down from Minnesota. It's an MCI MC8, and we're going to get into it. There's some leveling issues with it. It doesn't have any leveling valves on it. So we're going to work on the suspension and some other stuff and just kind of do an inspection on it and see what's going on with it. It's new to him. He's only had it for, I think, a little over a year. So we parked it outside last night. You got it. Straight in now. He just had this engine rebuilt by
Central Truck
up in Minnesota. The guys that are friends with our buddy Phil that passed away last year, his friends did that up there. And then he's mounting a sensor up here to get for a tachometer display, because that'll just be an easy way to hook it up and do that. We also know he's got a whole bunch of air leaks on here, so we're going to go through and get into the air system on it. Okay, you can release. What? What's leaking? Yeah. That's a big air leak. Yeah, you have a big air leak on this air hose up here. You can release it. Okay, step on the brakes. Okay. I might not do it again. It might not, because it's loaded up differently. Ready? Yeah, check it out.
Be a 1/4 inch of motion in there.
At least. Is the tire up off the ground? All right, yeah, let's get the pry bar and the... Yeah, that's very bad. Okay. coming out of the bottom of the inversion valve, isn't it?
Yeah, in that line, that brake line.
Yeah.
I think it's from the actual line, isn't it? What's it from?
Got a bunch of air leaks. Okay, release. Set the parking brake. This is upside down.
What?
The DD3. It's the wrong side,
It's left side?
which means that's probably full of water. The drain port's on the top. You okay? Came loose though?
Yeah.
If you notice anything wrong here, now I'll point it out to you. So the springs have a little curve in them. And in the back, on the drive axle, the curve goes around the S-cam. But in the fronts, it doesn't. It goes around the hub. This spring was put on backwards where the curve goes on the wrong side. So the part that stuck out was rubbing up against the hub as it spun around, and it wore it down paper thin. It's about ready to break. And as a matter of fact, the outer spring that would normally be hanging here is missing because it probably wore through and broke because they were both on backwards. And I saw evidence of it rubbing on here. So the ones in the drive axle, the curve shape goes around the S-cam, but up here it curves out of the way to keep it away from the hub. And people get that confused and put it together. If it is rubbing on there and you spin the wheel quietly, you can usually hear kind of a high-pitched little vibration of the springs. That kind of a noise, if you can hear it. But that needs to be replaced because that is ready to break. Paper thin. So that's one's on there. On the other side, it's how it's supposed to be. So it curves out of the way for the hub. And the S-cam is like set back behind it, so it's never in the way of it. And here's the big one that holds this together. You can see how it curves out of the way of the S-cam. So the S-cam can pivot in there and not touch it. Got it.
Oh, that's pretty good. Yeah, there's one more back behind there if you pull it.
Oh yeah, I see it up there.
Oh yeah.
So 1, 2, 3 fittings and a 2-foot section of
Yeah.
airline. And then this one had multiple too. There's a connector and there's another one.
Yeah, I saw that. I thought Scott's gonna want to see that one. That there was too good to let pass.
Why have one air leak when you have 6?
Right. I gotta see what's under there too.
Just pry up under the middle where the O-ring's missing. Yeah, that should lift it up. Got it. Grab that half bronze bushing or brass bushing that's on there. Shit. We pump that up. Yeah, no, you have to step on a foot pedal to release. We're just gonna go little bits at a time here.
Yep.
Release the jack just a hair because we actually have it lifted up.
Okay, how do I release
The
this?
skinny pedal down there, step on it
skinny pedal.
just slightly. Yep, just a hair. Right, oop. Now go back up maybe just a tiny bit on the other one. Step on the big pedal just a little. One more little pump. That looks relatively neutral there. Let's see if it'll move. So you can pull. It's coming.
Oop.
Yep. Looks like Jonathan's gonna do most of the pull in there. I can get in here with a pry bar.
There we go.
I'm gonna be able to keep it though.
Are you safe there, Jonathan?
Yes.
No, and I can't, if I pull, it moves on the block.
Okay, so go, are we up too high? Yeah.
That's, oh, there we go.
And put a stand under there.
Yeah, let's get a jack stand under there. That's smart thinking. I'm just guessing, but that surface looks very rusted and corroded. Even though
Yes,
it's
it does.
even though it's covered in grease, it may not be, but
I'm betting it is. I'm betting you're absolutely correct. And get this out of our way. These I will put over here. I'll pull.
let the jack up or down, whatever. I think it's too high. I think it's too high. Yeah. There you go. Stop.
All right.
Go up one pump on the jack.
One more.
If you want. Okay, hang on. Let me try to pry bar.
I think it's crooked. It's going crooked now.
Yeah, his force out there is making it tweak.
Yep.
Tweaking this one.
There you go. And that does have a lot of motion.
Yeah.
Yep, it tweaked over. I saw it tweak.
I think you're too high. It looks like it's too high.
No, that's
Right,
easily
right.
solved.
It just moved. Okay, try it now.
Okay. I'm just gonna put ever so slight amount of pressure to try to follow your jerking.
Hang on.
See if you can pull it out the rest of the way now. There it is. Is it actually balanced? Oh, no, hey, you're off of the thing though. So move the jack stand back under it.
It's staying.
It's staying real.
Yeah, I don't want it to.
Staying good.
That falls off.
It would be a real pain in the goose. Should we just pull it back a ways out of the way and then do it, Jonathan? So it's out of the...
Yeah, we got room in the shop today. Let's pull it back a couple feet.
Okay, I locked up on something. Something is...
This bushing is the last one that I was able to find. We looked really, really hard. I don't know anybody else that has any more of these. So we put it in the hands of our machinist friend, Jeff, and he's going to take all the measurements on it so we can try to reproduce it if we need to. But as far as I know, these are just not available right now, and they're very hard to get a hold of. This was never put together right. It's flush down there, but the bushing isn't in all the way. You can see it's sticking proud. And then that warped when they put it together because that brass bushing spacer that goes in there, bearing, whatever you want to call it, sticks out. That's probably a 1/16 of an inch sticking out. And that caused it to warp, and it was rubbing weird.
Now, it looks like that keyway.
No, they put it on upside down.
Oh, sure.
Maybe move that other one around to this side.
Here it comes, Jonathan. Watch your hand and your leg.
So when the bushing goes in, there's a keyway right there. And then this has a screw hole and it goes in the screw hole there. So when that goes in place, you can't screw it up, and the keyway lines up with grease holes that are in there, so you can get it greased good. They put this bushing in upside down. You can see how much the bushing's worn. It's paper thin right there. Might even be through. And then see how thick it is. Spinning?
Not yet.
Well, at least it's not a cylinder liner.
Yeah.
At least not that kind of cylinder liner. Ah, praise the Lord.
Okay, we can't reuse this because it'll just chew up the new bushing when we put it on there. You can even see where the grease is. Lines are supposed to be in here and they're completely gone. Just not there anymore. Our buddy Brandon at Cardinal Coach in Warsaw, North Carolina, he pulled 2 of the passenger side tag axles for us, and neither of them were much better than this. So luckily Luke at US Coach in New Jersey, he had one ready to go for us. So he's got it on a pallet. It's coming by truck shipment. So we're gonna get that replaced with a whole new swing arm for that. So this had 4 pressure regulators that went to each of the individual bags, so you could set the pressure on it.
Yep.
And then it had a gauge that would tell you what PSI it was at.
Yep.
But there was no leveling in it, so if there's a crown in the road or something, you know,
Yeah, or you got an empty tank or whatever.
it would be changing constantly as you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, it's very distracting to go down the road driving and have to adjust your suspension.
Yeah, that's no fun.
It's like, no.
We had to completely remake everything for leveling valves. Even the arms were missing in the mounts, so we ordered some arms from Luke. He had those. And then we got the new DD3 brake chamber to replace the one that was on there upside down. See, the exhaust port was mounted so that it went up instead of down, so none of the moisture could be ejected from it. They are critical left and right side for MCIs.
That is it, sir. Thank you.
Take your.
That should be really close. How's that line up with our little thingy?
I think they're close. I can't really see.
Yeah, yeah, that's.
We're putting all new radius rod bushings in here. And we got that pin pushed out right now on the top of this one, so we can do the other side. And we have just one more to go on the other side. So just about got that bushing off of there. We have the top pin on the differential moving over to the other side now, so we'll be able to drop that off in just a few seconds here. Just push the pin to the far side, and then come right off the easiest way. Getting all new shocks. New brake cans. This side got a new one because it was, no, this one just got new diaphragms in it, and the one on the other side got replaced because it was the wrong side, upside down. We got to replace the inversion valve on there still, and all those brake lines and brake hoses are getting changed too. Inversion valves are getting hard to get now too, so they have rebuild kits available for them, but the actual valve itself is hard to get now. So save your old ones so they can get rebuilt. We're putting a new pressure regulator on there that sets the pressure for the parking brake. A couple new wheel bearings. The races are in the freezer right now. We're putting some new Stemco caps on there too. All new wheel seals are going on, so we've just got a few more to go. Putting new brake chambers on the fronts also, and on the tag axles. These are little 12s that go on the tags. There's all the new shocks that are getting ready to go on. There's a pile of old parts. He spent a couple days converting his air wipers over to electric. He bought some electric motors and that front plate, the whole mount for it and everything, off of an A series. But he had to do a little bit of grinding and things to get things to fit, but converted over to electric motors instead of air wipers. That'll be a huge convenience factor. One of the new brake chambers going on. So that's where we're at as of the weekend here. So we're going to get into this upcoming week here on Monday, and then everything should probably be just about done by Tuesday, except for that swing arm, depending on when that comes, freight shipment. We're just going to be waiting on that.
See that white smoke rising up the holler through the trees, and from a mile away you can hear them play as they climb that hill with ease. At the top of that mountain there's a new life waiting for those who can make the run. They can make it to the top, Scott will put them in the shop till their new life has begun. Mountain, where the buses come to run. Bus Grease Mountain, we're gonna get that big job done. Bus Grease Mountain, they're gonna get that big job done. His tools, check the air and all those duels. It's that bus grease monkey, don't you know? Well, he's got a long hard ride in old Lenny the Silver Sides. Get that bus grease monkey on the road. Well, he's got that hammer down and that 47 Hound. It's that bus grease monkey on the road. He travels all around and he's coming to your town. Get that bus grease monkey down the road. the propped up engine door. Watch that bus grease monkey do his thing. 30 years behind that barn, 'cause it don't run worth a darn. Watch that bus grease monkey make it sing. He knows them Detroits, there's no doubt, upside down and inside out. It's that bus grease monkey, don't you know? Saving buses far and wide in that old blue silver sides. It's that bus grease monkey, don't you know? Now he's moved his family to the hills of Tennessee. Watch that bus grease monkey make his home, bringing buses back to life with the help of his dear wife. Watch that bus grease monkey get it done. Well, he travels town to town working on them old greyhounds. It's that bus grease monkey, don't you know? Saving buses far and wide in old Lenny the Silver Sides. It's that bus grease monkey, don't you know? It's that bus grease monkey, don't you know? It's that bus grease monkey, don't you know?